A Novice Reviews Bloodsport 1988. Guys, this is my review for the movie Bloodsport. It's a martial arts action movie starring Jean Claude Van Damme, the one and only, and it's directed by a man called Newt Arnold. Now, this was on my Netflix list, so I've always wanted to watch it regardless. But going into this, I didn't have any expectations. So I was surprised by how much I love this movie. And I love this movie, guys. There's so many good things that I like about it. Like the villain, the choreography, it doesn't have a lot of cuts. There's a visceral feel because it shows blood. And there's a great callback to the main character and his training by the end of the movie. And it comes back around. There's so many good things. But I'm going to zero it down to three big likes about this movie. Well, two big likes and then one that's almost like a food for thought. So it won't apply because I'm going to use an example based on something else that's more recent that I've seen. Those three things are, first off, the main character Frank, his sense of honor. And then the second thing is the fact that he doesn't seem volatile, and I really like that about his character. And then the last thing is comparing it to a certain TV show that some of you may know called Iron Fist. As far as like storytelling, so first off, the first thing, Frank Dukes, that's the main character. Now, this story is about him going to fight in a tournament, like a lot of famous martial arts movies, Enter the Dragon, so on. But the first thing that really stuck out to me about this movie is that Frank has a really strong sense of honor, and I realized this through a flashback scene between him and his I guess you call it sensei because he's Japanese. Him and his master growing up, Tanaka. And how it really molded who he is as a man now, because you see through his flashback that you feel for the guy, the master Tanaka, because he really wished he could pass down. I can't say why, but he talks about his pain not being able to pass down certain traditions to his family members for reasons I can't get into. But instead of doing that with like his own relatives, sons, whichever, he does it with Frank Dukes, which I believe was like his neighbor or something like that, or like some kid in the neighborhood when he was young. This is the main character I'm talking about. And he trains with this guy, Tanaka, and you see through these scenes how they build this father-son relationship. So at the start of this movie, he goes to visit him, and just through a couple of montages alone, they straight away establish, oh, this is not just your student and a teacher. This is I don't know what you call it, a family type of relationship, a father-son type relationship. So you feel some type of way when when the main character Frank is talking to Tanaka, and you realize that him fighting in this tournament is just reinforcing that idea that no, this is about legacy, and this is about being determined and having a certain goal to do something in the name of others and to do right by others. And he has that honor in him that he reinforces in this movie, even with his friends and the people he surrounds himself with, and the way he carries himself. And I love that about this character. The second big thing I like about this movie is the fact that this guy Frank, the main character, he doesn't seem like a volatile character. He doesn't seem like a hothead, is basically what I'm saying. And that surprised me that was a like for this movie. But I realized why. because watching a lot of modern action movies, more recent stuff, especially like Marvel movies, you the convention always, whenever an alpha meets another alpha, it doesn't even have to be alphas. People always fight. Big people always fight when they meet each other. For some reason, people can't just meet each other, realize, oh wait, we're going after the same thing. Why don't we try to be allies, at least for the time being? Or, I don't know, be friends. In this movie, apparently, made, yeah, 30 years ago now, 30 plus years ago, 32, they seem to get that with this character. This character knows that I'm not going to fight an unnecessary fight. I don't need to fight when I don't have to. He meets, there's two times where he meets someone who becomes his friend, another time where it's a adversarial relationship, but it's not like a good meets evil stereotypical thing. It's just someone who he clashes with a little bit in a moment. The first moment with the friends that I'm talking about, you expect again he meets another alpha, another dominant male, and you think something's about to kick off. Like, oh wait, how's this gonna go? Is this gonna be like this guy? Something's not gonna work out between the exchange. And he's gonna swing for his face. No, they they bond over something that I won't get into because I really want you guys to watch it. And then they just become friends just like that. And I'm like, I was shocked by the scene. I couldn't figure out why. And then they did it again. The second example I'm using with there's an adversary in this tournament that he fights, one of them, and he challenges him to a contest, but not a physical fight. It's just something that he does, some trick that's based on something in his past, and he manages to to win this this small contest that he challenges this adversary to. Again, it doesn't end in a fight. It doesn't end in a, oh, I'll show you, you son of a, yeah. And it's sad because as a modern viewer, I feel like it should be the opposite with modern day movies. I shouldn't expect people to just start scrapping when they see each other, like as a gang movie. No, but in this movie, from how long ago, the storytelling feels on point in that sense. I like that again about this character, not volatile. He's just a guy who knows, you know what, even if I have a problem with you, unless it's a very serious thing, I'm not going to mess it up because I have a bigger goal in mind. I'm so glad. Like, this storytelling, I love it so much. And they reinforce that, right? But the last thing I'll say, the big point about this movie is more of a food for thought. It's not about this movie per se. It's comparing it to something else. There's a TV show called Iron Fist, right, guys? And the comparison that it has to this movie is that Frank Dukes is representing his master in this movie, but he's not of the same ethnicity. He's not from the same clan as his master. He it's Jean Claude Van Damme. He's Caucasian, right? It's a movie that still feels like it's honoring because of that personal relationship and the personal relationships he builds with some other characters. It still feels like Frank Dukes is a man who's honoring others, even though he doesn't technically speak for them. Unlike Iron Fist, for me, both season 1 and 2, which feels like just a disrespect of my intelligence and many people's intelligence. Even if they say they love it, I feel like the writers don't respect you, even when the show's supposed to be at its best. Apparently, for some people in the second season, I felt like the student-teacher relationship that I mentioned earlier with Frank Dukes and his master Tanaka, that was the kind of thing they should have reinforced with Danny and his master to help us feel for him more and have like certain emotional anchors and relationships. The fact that Frank Dukes in this movie, I mentioned he's doesn't seem like a volatile person, but he's not just gonna back down from something if There's a certain threat in this movie that he feels is only right to challenge, but it doesn't feel like a hot tempered thing. It just feels like, oh no, you have hurt something close to me, so I have to do what's right. I don't feel that way with Danny. This movie, Bloodsport, ironically, is the perfect framework for storytelling of Iron Fist, assuming they stick to the source material and keep him white. Because understand, I think John, both this movie that in the 80s, understand why this movie would have been more palatable to the masses, because it's Jean Claude Van Damme. Um, he's a white dude. You need to market it to the Western audience better. Understand why it would have worked better for a lot of Western audiences back then. I understand the history of whitewashing is very real, and I think there is a case. Don't get me wrong, that the story of to compare to Iron Fist could have worked if it was an Asian American. But this just shows that regardless of the race, they didn't give a damn about story. They didn't really try to make you invest in that character on a personal level, in my opinion. And it made me feel good watching this movie, but it made me feel really sad that, again, modern movies, with exception, just aren't doing, like, movies from the East, some movies from the West, like John Wick, are doing it, but you need the emotional stakes and the physical stakes, right? Together. Hopefully movies like a Shang-Chi, Mortal Kombat that Warner Brothers is doing will do that for people. But we'll see. As far as this movie is concerned, like I said, I love it. Love the character of Frank Dukes. Love his personality. Love his determination, his sense of honor, so and so. I love the fight scenes in this movie. Go watch this movie, guys. Please, I beg of you. It's a good movie on Netflix. Thumbs up for me, definitely. Tell me what you think down below. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out. Laters.